News, and I will just read it one more time here, is that the Metropolitan Police's Specialist Command have now concluded that their assessment and have determined that there is no information to indicate that a criminal offence has been committed. Mark, more detail, please.
Yes, excuse me, I'm just a little bit out of breath
as
I was running down the stairs to be with you. But yeah, the Metropolitan Police who've been carrying out this scoping exercise. Their Specialist Crime Command have carried out that exercise, and they have determined that there is not a criminal investigation that should be launched, and they have handed it back to the BBC.
Okay.
So this slew of allegations that we were talking about just a little earlier, now the BBC can begin that investigation.
And that's vital. That's vitally important, isn't it? Which is that, so people were waiting for the Metropolitan Police to conduct their own scoping exercise, and that appears to have concluded now. So it is now the onus on the BBC. What is interesting, I think, is to just remind ourselves of what some of these allegations are. So the one that I think a lot of people were wondering whether or not it involved any elements of criminality was mainly down to the age of, supposedly anyway, one of the people involved in all of this. Well, the Metropolitan Police clearly feel as though that's not an issue, but a couple of the other incidents, alleged incidents, would involve some kind of threatening behaviour to somebody who threatened to out this individual online, breaking lockdown rules, allegedly, and also as well just some what have been called creepy messages. So there's quite a bit to go here.
Yes, I mean the allegations, all of the other allegations other than the initial allegation, which followed a complaint that was made to the BBC on the 18th of May, are not being considered by the Metropolitan Police at this time. They have received no information, they say. That initial investigation, the scoping exercise, relates to a complaint that was made by the mother and stepfather of an individual who it's claimed was 17 at the time, that they were paid money to send explicit pictures to this unnamed BBC presenter. Since that time, the individual involved, through their lawyers, have denied that the story, although the mother and stepfather stick to their side of the story. So that was a scoping exercise. Now, what the Metropolitan Police have said in reaching the decision today that there is no criminal offence that they've been able to find is that in reaching this decision, this is their statement, they have spoken to a number of parties, including the BBC and alleged complainant, and the alleged complainant's family, both via another police force, they say. There is no further police action. As such, the Met has advised the BBC that it can continue with its internal investigation. Now, this is interesting with regard to the Sun story that came out overnight and splashed again this morning, that claimed this unnamed presenter had arranged to meet another individual through a dating app, that the presenter had travelled to another county during the third lockdown on, I think, the 1st of February, or certainly in February 2021. With that allegation, they say, we are aware of media reporting further allegations against the same individual.
1 second, very sorry about this now. Breaking news. Vicky Flynn, the wife of newsreader Hugh Edwards, has named him as the BBC presenter facing allegations over payments for sexually explicit images. I will read that to you one more time. Vicky Flynn, the wife of newsreader Hugh Edwards, has named him as the BBC presenter facing allegations over payments for sexually explicit images in a statement issued on his behalf. That is, of course, the big breaking news that's just taking place now. Mark, a significant development. Now, just one more time for you, if you are just joining us. So, 2 bits of breaking news in quick succession. The Met Specialist Crime Command have now concluded their assessment and have determined that there is no information to indicate that a criminal offence has been committed. The other bit of breaking news is that Vicky Flynn, the wife of newsreader Hugh Edwards, has now named him as the BBC presenter facing allegations over payments for sexually explicit images in a statement issued on his behalf. Mark White joins me.
Yeah, well, that's the name, of course, that is in social media. It's a name that by privacy laws we were not able, without breaking the law, to bring to you, but the fact that this presenter has now come forward themselves through their wife, who's issued this statement, well, clearly we can now confirm through her that Hugh Edwards, the BBC presenter, this very, very prominent top BBC presenter, is the presenter at the centre of this slew of allegations, and who will be absorbing the news like everyone else, that the Metropolitan Police do not feel that there is a criminal offence that was committed with regard to the original allegation against Hugh Edwards that was made on the 18th of May by the mother and stepfather of an individual. Now, the BBC have put out a statement in response to that Metropolitan Police line. They say, we've seen the statement from the police confirming they have completed their assessment and are not taking further action. We're grateful to them for completing their work. The police had previously asked us to pause our fact-finding investigations, and we will now move forward, they say, with that work, ensuring due process and a thorough assessment of the facts while continuing to be mindful of our duty of care for all those involved.
I'm just going to read you as well something from Vicky Flynn's statement. So this is a statement in relation to her husband, Hugh Edwards, being named as the BBC presenter. Reportedly, she says that her husband, Hugh Edwards, was suffering from serious mental health issues and is now receiving inpatient hospital care where he will stay for the foreseeable future, and has asked for privacy for her family. This is according to reports about this statement at the moment.
Well, clearly, I mean, she's revealing something we absolutely did not know.
No.
A significant and serious development with that information coming from the wife of Hugh Edwards, that he is receiving inpatient care, hospital care for a serious mental health issue. I was aware of reports actually from those within the industry in the BBC that know Hugh Edwards of a period of depression that he had suffered in recent years. But as I say, this is a very significant development that Hugh Edwards, according to his wife, has been admitted to hospital for inpatient care for a serious mental disorder.
Yes, no, indeed. Look, if you're just joining us, okay, a series, of course, of breaking stories there. First things first is that the Met Police have conducted an assessment of whatever information they were given and whatever evidence that they were given. And they have determined that there is no information to indicate that a criminal offence has been committed. In reaching this decision, they have spoken to a number of parties, including the BBC and the alleged complainant, and the alleged complainant's family, both via another police force. They say now that there is no further police action. They go on to say, as such, the Met has advised the BBC that it can continue with its internal investigation. Now, the other bit of breaking news is that Vicky Flynn, who is the wife of Hugh Edwards, has named Hugh Edwards now as the BBC presenter at the centre of this scandal. She has gone on to say, according to reports, that he's suffering from serious mental health issues and is now receiving inpatient hospital care where he will stay.